Hey everyone, very special day because I'm here with Deniz Tombuloğlu and he's gonna show you how to make the perfect Turkish coffee. He is the 2020 Cezve Ibrik Champion of Turkey and I'm really excited to get into the whole process. So pay attention, let's do it. So right now we are actually crossing underneath water that separates the European from the Asian continent. So quite a big bang for your buck.
Hello everyone, my process is, I'm using Colombian El Mirador is a natural anaerobic process. Coffee, very sweet, very good. I take 8.5 grams of coffee. I use 70 milliliter and 70 degrees Celsius water because I'm using the hot water. I'm shortening the brewing time and prevent bitterness. Nice stir. I use a little coarse grinding setting for prevent bitterness also. The Turkish coffee is all people grinding little small size, but you use very small beans, that's going to bitterness. But I use little bit more coarse.
So more coarse than the typical Turkish coffee?
Yeah, I use like a mocha pot size. Also I put to the cup, to the ice, because you know we are brewing is very hot. After the brewing, I put the cup, my coffee, it will stop the brewing and prevent bitterness. In the first minute, I will take the Cezve and a little bit shake. I am waiting maybe 45-50 seconds more because the temperature is cold. That brewing is a little bit going too long. Normally in championship, I finished 1 minute 45 seconds. We are going high now. Let's start the brew. Just maybe 10 seconds more. Let's go. We must wait 1 minute for optimal temperature before the drink. Enjoy.
Thank you.
I hope you like it.
So I have a question about the sand coffee method. Why do you use the burner instead of the traditional sand method?
I use the fire and I can control the fire size. If I want, I can going more. If I want, I can going slowly. But sand heater, you don't know temperature of Cezve. But you check the control and you check the time. Maybe the brew is going fast, you can take it slow. Maybe brew is going slow, you can take it fast.
So sand is more just a traditional way of keeping it hot for a long time, right? All right, I am very excited about this. About to dig into my coffee. We've waited about a minute now, just a bit over, so we can get the full flavors out of this cup. But I also wanted to let you know that Deniz, his voice doesn't normally sound like this. He just suddenly got a little bit sick today, but you know, he's still able to describe a bit of the process. So what I'm gonna do is take a sip, process it, and in the meantime, I'm gonna see if I can remember all the steps that are necessary so that I can make my own Turkish coffee with the championship recipe at home. But let's try this out. Oh wow. Well, that's definitely different than a lot of the Turkish coffee that I've had so far during my time in Istanbul.
The important is that the beans is very good. The beans is natural anaerobic Colombia.
Yeah.
But very fruity, more winey texture. The smell taste is different and also aroma taste is different.
Right. Well, let me run through the recipe and see if I remember everything. So you used 8.5 grams of this very special coffee, slightly coarser ground than a typical Turkish, and then 70 milliliters of water at 70 degrees.
Yeah, that's important.
Easy to remember because they're both 70, but it's important because we want to make sure that the water is hot, a little bit hot going into it first, right? And so we pour all of that in here, and then we turn the burner on. So if I can remember it properly, the burner for around 1 minute, it's going to be on high temperature. How is that?
Yeah. In the first minute, a little bit high temperature. After the first minute, I will check the clock, and if I want, I can going a little bit fast. I can go a little bit slow, because the important one is the minute. I must brew 1 minute 45 seconds in this coffee. In my competition.
Right.
Also, the water temperature is important.
Yeah.
That's because the high degrees water, that method is prevent bitterness. You know, Turkish coffee is little bit bitterness, but That's like a more fruity.
Right. This is much more fruity, and so I can really tell that it is a manual process. It's really hard to automate this specific recipe, and especially when you're using such a high-end coffee, you want to make sure you get everything that you can out of this brew. What's interesting about Turkish coffee and also espresso, you're drinking some of the grounds, right? You're drinking some of the crema, so of course you're going to get some bitterness. But what's nice is this is balanced out by all the other stuff, the natural sort of the fermentation part of the bean. Of course, it's a lighter roast. It's not a super dark roast, I assume.
That's roast like a filter, because you can use like a filter roast coffee in Turkish coffee. There's not much of a problem.
Okay.
But in Turkey, people make a very dark roast Turkish coffee beans.
Okay.
Make a medium roast, maybe medium to dark roast.
Right.
You can use in Turkish coffee. That means this coffee is going more fruity.
So another trick that Deniz used as well is he put ice cubes in the cup while he's doing the brewing process, and then toss the cubes out so that the cup would cool down the coffee as it's poured in, right? Because you don't want it super hot.
The coffee is going more temperature, 95, 96 degrees. You use hot cups, that's brewing is going well inside. But you use ice cube, you pour the coffee, it will stop the brewing and prevent bitterness. And also, they are going fast, the optimal temperature for drinking.
That's actually a very good point, because unlike filter coffee where the brewing is done once it drips all the way through, with Turkish coffee, like we said, there's still a lot of those grounds in the coffee. And so it's still hot, it's still kind of brewing because the grounds are there.
Yeah.
And that's also maybe another reason why you want to wait for some of the grounds to float to the bottom too, right? With Turkish coffee, because at the bottom we still have the grounds.
Yeah. But the Turkish coffee culture have grounds.
Yeah.
You know, maybe in another one is we use filters, we use some espresso machine, they don't have grounds.
Yeah.
That one is like optimum culture is that one.
Yeah.
Like a Turkish culture.
And I like that too. I wonder if you can read the fortune on the cup. That's a very typical Turkish thing too, right?
Yeah, I don't make it that one, but
he's not the Turkish champion of reading fortunes, but we'll have to call on someone else for that one.
But very famous in Turkey, that one.
One thing I think I forgot from the very beginning was you actually did a quick stir with this paddle. So is that just to make sure that all the coffee is immersed with the water before you start brewing?
I use that one because the Turkish coffee is grind very small. You can stir, that coffee is not going extraction.
Okay.
You must stir maybe 20 times because that's so thin. You put the water, the whole ground coffee is taken together.
So this has been a great coffee. Actually, to me, it tastes even a little bit like port wine, but without being so sweet. If you've ever tried port, it's quite sweet. And I think that has a little bit to do with the fermentation of the beans themselves. But in the Turkish cup, it's just such a nice brew. So
I want to ask you something.
Yeah, let's go.
What do you taste in a coffee? Can you taste some aroma, someone?
Yeah, so I really do taste that port wine. Have you tried port wine before?
Yeah.
Red wine, but you know, more deep. And we were talking a little bit about dates earlier.
Yeah.
How is it?
Hurma.
Hurma. So I think this would actually go very well with some dates on the side, you know, those more deep flavors. But yeah, definitely those almonds as well, sort of fresh almonds, not the roasted ones, but like really nice and fresh almonds.
Okay, I bring the true one.
Oh,
you
yeah?
taste that one, that's a true.
Oh, good. These are all the things you have to say.
Yeah, that's the same. In my championship, I say almond, rosehip, winey texture, like a right date.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Awesome.
It's good.
So this is the championship Turkish coffee. It might not be what you get in all the regular Turkish shops if you go around Istanbul or the rest of Turkey, but this is kind of the refined method. It's where the traditional meets more of the modern, and you know, the specialty coffee method, and bringing those two worlds together. So I really appreciate it, Deniz.
I appreciate it.
Teşekkürler.
Teşekkürler.
For having
Thank
me.
you.
But if you want to see more of this cafe, paper roasting, coffee and chocolate, do check out this video right here. I did a full cafe tour of Istanbul. So I hope to see you over there. Thanks again, Deniz.
Thank you.